unidentified, the unexplainable, paranormal, conspiracies, and much more. Starring your host and co-host, Jenny Nicasio, Sean Kelly, and Jason Sledgehammer Ryan Petro. Brought to you by UPRN Network. Now for your host, Jenny Nicasio.
Good evening and welcome to Chasing Prophecy on FM 107.7 New Orleans, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. Remember to like us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. I'm Jenny Nicasio along with Sean Kelly and Jason Ryan Petro. Happy Thursday, everyone.
Happy Thursday. I think we just lost Sean, actually.
Oh, geez. Well, he's just going to have to come back on. We're having a lot of technical issues tonight, so bear with us, guys. But I just want to let you know that there is something seriously going on because everything I had up here is gone. So anyways, let's get busy. Okay, we'll just hang in there and wait for Sean to come back. But we are going to be discussing David Pollitt's former police officer. He's now an investigator and writer known primarily for his self-published books and dedicated to proving the reality of Bigfoot, and his Missing 411 series books in which he documented disappearances all over the country, national parks everywhere. And I just wanted to start off the discussion tonight. I tried to get David on with us tonight. I talked to his agent over the past couple days, but I'm not sure what happened. If maybe we'll have to have him on at a different time, but I was really looking forward to having him with us tonight. But over the past, oh my God, since, oh geez, guys, I would have to say 1800s, there's been documented cases of missing people. And I wanted you to watch the Missing 411 and Missing 411 Hunted. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch it, but I watched it twice, each one twice. I got the book here. This one is the Missing 411 Eastern United States. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see that, Jason?
Yeah, I can see it.
It's a really good book, and he has like 8 of them of all over the different, everywhere in Pennsylvania. This one goes all the way the eastern part. It's really an interesting read. And he has a summary of the cases, which was really cool. But I just wanted to start off by, there's been hundreds of oh my God, I'm having a spatial frame, disappearing act. Let me just take off right now. Around the campgrounds, a lot of people are missing. And these people, I don't know if you watched it, Jason. I know Sean did. These people aren't the ones that are missing because, they decided to leave. They weren't attacked by any kind of animal. They weren't like a serial killer kind of type killing. So they're all over the place. And most of the times they happen in the national parks,
right,
all over the place. But in campgrounds, like you would never think. The funny thing is, he couldn't find any information coming from the parks. The parks wouldn't give him any information, which to me sounds like either they don't want people knowing about it for publicity that would mess up their tourist. He couldn't get anything from the parks.
That's usually what that is, it's because, once something like that gets out at a park, say you're planning on going there with your family and you just hear like, oh, these people disappeared or something crazy is going on. Most common people will be like, well, we're not going there, so it'll be a giant loss of revenue for them, and until they can solve the case and everything.
So it's really, but most of the parks there's one way in and there's only one way out. So there's like what happened to these people. And I was as I watched the documentary, I took some notes down that there was one disappearing. Bobby Bishop disappeared August 15, 1958, in Rocky Mountains National Park. He was only 10 years old, and it was called Camp St. Malo. I think that's the pronunciation. There's a statue of Christ there. And below the chapel, there's a rock camp that they decided it would be a great place for a boys camp. But the weird thing that happened on August 15, 1958, one of the camp counselors was trying to get Bobby to go to come back because it was time for them to have their, I guess they call it child dinner or something like that. But he ended up, this is August 23rd, 2,000 feet up. And they found his remains a year later in a ravine. Now, keep in mind, they searched that area 3 times the year before, and they found his body. I mean, the area is so dense and so rugged that it's half the time I can't fathom these kids that are getting lost. I mean, it's amazing. They used all kind of infrared helicopters. The National Guard came in, the state police came in, and they didn't find him. But there's just so many cases. Did Sean ever come back, or is he still in the green room?
He was actually messaging me. I guess he's having problems.
There I am.
He's back.
Good, Sean. I was worried
He's
about you.
back.
We were just discussing. We were just discussing the missing 411. The cases. I don't know if you watched the first documentary that he did.
The Hunted.
No, not The Hunted. I'm starting at the first one. The first missing 411. There was a little boy on there named Delora Jr. He was 2 years old, and the family went to this, a nice campground resort, and he was with his grandfather, and I guess the grandfather turned his head for like a second, and the little boy's gone. And this was in Timber Creek, Idaho. And according to David, the area is starting off. It's like your typical campground. Okay, it's beautiful, and the thing is, he turned around for a second, and the kid's gone. He's 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he wanders off, and the parents, they panic. They try using their cell phones. They can't use their cell phones because the reception is so bad. Finally, they get a signal, and they call 911. And it's just crazy. They never find him. And I don't think they ever found him to this day.
Oh, wow.
Now, these are little, we're going to dip into this one, and then we're going to go into the one that you watched. I just wanted to tell you that these kids are so young. This other one, Jared, I can't remember his last name, but he disappeared on August 2nd, 1999 on a 10-acre resort. Okay. His father, I think the family worked there, if I'm not mistaken. But there was like a singles group or something like that, David said. And so the mother wanted to take the little boy with her to go with them. I guess she was a camp guide. I'm not sure exactly. So I don't know what happened. They turned around. Somebody thought that she was with the boy. Little boy wandered off, and that was gone. He was gone. But they had 65 rescuers searching for him for 8 days. Oh, wow. And they could not find him. But 3 years later, 3 years later, they find his shoes, parts of his clothing. I believe it was a jacket, a pair of pants that was inside out. And they found it on 550 feet up. Now, there's no way a 2-year-old could climb there. It was rugged terrain. There's just no way that he could have, gone up there. And they find it 3 years later. But the thing is, they found his shoes. They find perfect condition. There was a couple tears out of his pants that looked like maybe a bird maybe was trying to make a nest or something like that. And it's just so creepy. And then they find his little skull cap, and they find his little tooth on a log. Like someone stuck it there.
I've noticed something with a lot of these cases, when I was watching David's video earlier today. I don't know what it is, but there's such a connection with people that are missing are really far away from where they last were. They're missing their clothes, they're missing shoes, and then the bodies, will just magically
appear, like they want you to find them
later, whether it's a couple months or a few years. It's just too coincidental. They're creepy. All literally have such similarities, whether it's adults or kids. Something's got to be going on out there.
It's just kind of strange. And then they didn't find any DNA on the clothing of an animal, or there's no blood, there's no hair.
That's another thing. You know, if they find the bodies,
Yeah.
I have yet to hear of one that's been, you know, animals attacked, or, you know what I mean? It's all like no,
Not
you know,
one.
there's no animal marks. You know,
Exactly.
so it really makes you wonder, like, what is going on out there?
And there was another case of a little 22-month-old, and this happened. This was on one of his videos in Ohio. It was a nice rural town. The father's a physician. The little 22-month-old baby was outside playing with their collie, and the mother I guess you could see him. She was inside, and then she could see that he was in the yard, and somehow he got out, and she didn't hear the dog bark. They went out looking, searching for the little boy. They find him in a field with just his diaper. He left the house with just his diaper. He was barefoot. When they find him alive. And the mother said, there's no way that dog would not have barked if somebody went next to the little boy.
Yeah.
The little boy didn't have any scratches. I think he had a little bit of frostbite because it was cold, but his feet, the father, he's a physician, he looked at the feet, and he was so smart to realize that his feet there was no way that little boy went 12 miles. There's no way. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's even the ones, there was another one. I wish you guys would have watched the first movie. David said that no FBI agents will come to a missing persons investigation unless it's a child. They don't do it for adults. And this one hunter, his name was Thomas Messick. He's 82 years old. He's an avid hunter. He goes up missing. Okay. They can't find him. They had the National Guard, you know, like the state police, the sheriff, everybody searching for him. Right. 300 people were searching for him. But then the FBI come, and they don't do that. So like, what did they know that they didn't want to tell?
Yeah.
You know, that's just kind of.
Well, see, you know what? I was doing some research on that. And in New York State, since 1960, they had a lot, like 60 cases that had exactly what happened to Thomas. Okay. Now, what's really crazy is 10 days later, when he went disappeared, there was a guy by the name of Fred Drum who just vanished from his property. They can't find him. They couldn't find him. But what was interesting about those two cases was they talked to a park ranger, I think it was, and they didn't see no animals. They saw no squirrels, no deer, nothing. It was like total silence up there.
Yeah.
And I'm believing, my theory about it is that they were abducted by UFOs, an alien abduction. I truly believe that.
Well, yeah, there's something going on, because there was people that claimed that their senses were like stunned, that they couldn't move. They were like frozen, like some kind of mind control started, and they couldn't even move. And these people, these hunters, like on The Hunted, they had their weapons. They had their back. There's no way a hunter, if they have their rifle in hand, that
they're just going to go willingly, you know.
Yeah, they're not. So they had to do something. It's like mind control to make them not. In the one guy, they found, this is weird. This was you saw this one? The one hunter. What was his? Aaron. I have it somewhere down here.
Yeah.
Aaron, what was his last name, Sean? Aaron. I have so many notes here.
I don't know, but I think that's out New Mexico.
I know his the first name is Aaron. And they found, this was really strange, Jason. They found his stuff. He had a backpack. Okay. He had a backpack. He had his bow in the back. He had candy bars. Aaron, what was his Parks? They had his candy bars, his GPS, his cell phone, his identification inside the backpack. Okay. They find it. I think it was was it 1 year later? Aaron Hedges. That was his name. He was disappeared September 25th, 2014. He was age 38. He disappeared in the, I believe it was, It was in the Crazies, they call it, the Crazies Mountains. I don't know if you guys heard of that. It's called the Montana.
Yes.
And they said that the Crow Indians put a curse on it, they think. But they found his they found his backpack. This on his huge mount, like set against a tree. Like it was like, oh, look what we did. We put this here. We want you to see. Whoever took them, put them there so that somebody would say, yeah, okay, we got your message. Then they found his thermos. Okay. On I guess a log or something. And it was like he was sitting there was a cigarette, I do believe, and he's drinking an energy drink, and he just set it down. But it looked like, okay, so you just took you don't know. We find your backpack up there, and then we find your your thermos here.
Yeah, right.
And they found his boots side by side.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And they said if it was
Yes,
hypothermia,
it was crazy.
there's no way he would have did this. So somebody deliberately put those there so that they would find them.
Or
and they know that, hey, look, we're out here. Okay, we're playing with you. But these hunters were just they're intelligent. Some of them were ex-Army, ex-Navy. Still, these are really trained hunters that they had everything that they needed. And they said, David said, he called it profile points, that it was always like the point of separation.
Yeah.
It was either, where was it? What would they call it, Sean?
Water.
Okay, time of the disappearance, like what time it was. It was near, like, there was either boulders or fields. It's like
water.
Big, heavy, near water.
That seems to be pretty common.
Granite stones.
There was something with the weather. Yeah, there was something with the weather that was going on. Maybe they had a disability. Like the one hunter had his eye blown in with some gunpowder. So he was like half blind, half deaf. That was that one hunter.
Messick.
Yeah. And the canines can't find a trace. They can't find it. There's no track. They can't find it.
Yeah, because they say like even cadaver dogs, they can smell, bodies miles away, and they're not even finding them.
And then the missing clothing is one, and then the unknown cause of death. No one knows why they died.
Yeah,
the coroners don't know. And there's like the deer. There's like clusters of groups. Like there's clusters of missing people, and they're all clustered together. That just freaks me out. That there was one. You saw this one. What was it? The woman that they found. Did you see that one? She was a hunter, and they found her. She was on hiking looking for, I don't know if she was looking for mushrooms. Did you see that one? That she and her husband went, and then they got separated, and they found her in a 4 feet, 4 inches of water or something like that. Was it something like that? And her face down, nude in a fetal position.
It was, yes.
Yeah, see,
and they didn't know why she died.
Yes. But you know what was? No, they didn't. And the coroner said that she did not, drown. You know what I mean? But what confuses that guy is that her face was in the water, but she wasn't considered drowned.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, Jenny. We had a guest, a husband and wife team, the Triangle.
The Orens.
Remember them?
Yes. Andrew Oren.
Okay. Now, yes. Now, 3 of those things he talked about and hunted missing people, is that not part of that triangle? I think.
No, well, maybe it is. No, that was part of Santa Fe. Was one of the locations. I don't know if that one was it, because the one was in Sonoma, California. But that's another one I want to talk about.
Okay,
they're all the way out in New Zealand and everything too. So it's all over the world that same things happening.
In Simona, there's a campground. There was a group of hunters that they were on horseback. There was 2 horses and a mule, and they went down to they went to a trail where they have their campgrounds, and they went there every year after year they would go. This has gone back. This happened, I think the one incident was in the 70s, and they had these shelters that they made out of trees. And they would go into the shelters at night. And this one particular time, they heard these weird sounds that were like ape sounds. They didn't make any, like, to them sense, but they were scared. And he's the gentleman that was telling the story to David said that they were communicating with each other, and there was more than one.
Ooh.
So they recorded it.
Three.
They recorded it, and they gave it to a university professor who's like an engineer, like some kind of electrical engineer. And he said that they said it was not human. And they figured out that the sound was from someone about 7.73 to 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
But there was like a family that they were like talking.
This kind of reminds me of like the movie The Hills Have Eyes. It's like, what if there's a colony out there that's just totally off the grid and of whatever they are, and people like us or whatever go hiking to have a good time, and they intrude their space.
Well, that's what they were saying. It was like, wait a minute, you shouldn't be here. This is our place. So they would come back. And then there was another, I think one of the hunters brought his wife there. They went camping one year, and they saw these like sphere like lights that was like going around. And it was like telling them like, you don't belong here. This is our domain. You should leave.
Right.
But there's no way, after I watched these twice, there's no way in hell that I would ever go out there alone. And there's so many stupid people that they go hunting alone, or they go camping, or they go on a hike, and they don't tell anybody that they're leaving. And there was another thing which I thought was really cool that he said that I think every person should know. It's called a packing list of what to bring. And this is something that I'm going to say, because I think if you go out by yourself, you're a fool. Okay.
I agree with you.
This is a packing list. If you're going to go, I mean, a lot of young people, they do it. And this is so I can't understand it, especially young girls. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to go in the woods and see if I can find some wolves. You know what I mean? It's like, you're so stupid. But they had the rescuers telling, I wrote this down because I think this is something anybody, even if you're going to go to your local hike in your local, like a park, you should have stuff with you. And the most important things is your identification. And these people forget their identification. The one lady who was missing in Simona, I believe, left her purse, her cell phone in her car. Like, why would you go on a walk without a cell phone? But so they say to take your extra water, bring large trash bags that you could actually use for like shelter. I never thought of that. Satellite phone, but I don't know where you'd get one, but maybe if you're an ex-military. But GPS and a beacon. This is what I wanted to get my niece who was living. She worked on a national park. Actually, she was at Crater Lake, and one of the people in the story was disappeared from Crater Lake. And I was like so upset that she was going to Crater Lake. I was like, no, you can't go there. Make sure you bring some. Get a beacon. Don't go without a beacon, like a personal locator beacon. And I didn't even know they made such a thing. And there were some that you can get a subscription to, and there's some that you can actually text. Like, it's really cool. They're expensive. If you got just a regular beacon, I don't think it would be that much. But bring a whistle so someone can hear you. I never thought of bringing a whistle. That's pretty cool. Bring a knife and a fire starter if you get lost and you don't have. You can always wear bright clothing. Don't wear black, or don't wear. Like, I think camouflage would be a really bad thing to wear if you're going hiking, because then you just meld in with the rest of the.
Or you could hide from whatever's hunting you.
Yeah, that's true. That's a whole different show. Tell someone you're going. Call your friend. Hey, listen, if I disappear, I'm at Yosemite Park. You know what I mean? Tell them. Always tell someone, and check the weather. And this is what David said. I was just thinking about that today. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And all of a sudden the winds picked up, and I said, because I was watching it with my mom, his YouTube videos, and I said, look, Mom, he's right. The wind, it just, the weather changed in a second. It was beautiful. It was warm, and these really high winds came in. So I can see that. Yeah, I can see that happening. But find shelter. Make sure if you're going to go hunting, bring extra ammunition. And I think if you're going out hunting or even on a hike, Jason, you should bring a gun.
Oh, yes.
Even if you're hiking, bring a gun with you.
Anytime I've gone camping, I've always made sure I had, something really close by in the tent. You know?
Yeah, definitely. And if you get lost in the woods or you're out in one of these national parks, go somewhere right in the open if you can. Take your jacket off, take your shirt off, and start waving it. And so someone up there can see you. Yeah. But the one story, Sean, I don't know if you remember this one towards the end of the documentary when the woman who was married to that physics, that doctor who was I can't remember his name. Forgive me, but he's a physics, real smart man. And she was married to him. And this is this was in Ohio. And she does bow hunting. So she would climb on top of that hunting tall thing. I don't know what they're called. I'm not a hunter.
Tree stand?
Something like, I think it's something like that. And she was hunting, and she was what?
Tree stand.
Is that what it's called? Well, she's sitting in there, and all of a sudden she said it got really quiet. That you didn't hear the birds. You didn't hear any of the animals. There was no rustling in the wind, nothing. And then she felt like she got disoriented. And then she called it like a blob, that it was this weird blob type. It was just the way that the trees were still there. It was just like, it was like really strange how it moved. And it went tree to tree, like wavy. And it went tree to tree, like in a blobby, like a blob or a fog. Mm-hmm. And she said she felt so weird that she just sat there and like for half an hour, and she didn't know what it was. What was you saying?
I think he's frozen.
Okay. Well, she was up there for about a half an hour.
And you know what?
But anyway, she went up there. She went up.
Sean's getting abducted right now.
They're
trying to take him away.
Well, Sean, we can't hear you, so just zip it. Zip it good. So she goes back to tell her. She totally forgot about it. It was like her mind was in a different sphere. She goes back, and then her husband, he gets an email from his nephew telling him that everybody at the football field saw these bright lights in the sky. And then she said, oh my God, I wonder if that's a coincidence between that and the weird thing that she saw in the tree. And she took a picture of it, and her husband, he does optical, he's like an engineer or something, physics, that he said that there's no way that the cell phone took this picture. It was just so weird. It was just so freaky.
But that's one of the plus sides of cell phones now is literally you have a camera on you at all times, So
and that's what her husband said to do. Make sure you take a picture.
Yeah, take pictures of everything, because you never know when that moment's going to happen. Something that's like, oh, this and this happened, and a lot of people were like, well, do you have any photos or anything? No. Well, okay.
Well, you should. And the funny thing is, when you want to take a picture, you forget. It's like oh my God, why didn't I take my picture? Why didn't
right.
But the one guys that were in hunting in this Sonoma, which was really freaky, is when they were, this was in Sonoma. This was back in, was it Montana? The one guy that was missing, Messick, disappeared. I forget where that was. That they heard something that sounded like a gigantic trap.
Oh.
So that leads me to believe that whoever this creature is, or whatever it is, might have went out some kind of door, like a portal that makes sound.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? You know, it's
There's just
definitely
weird.
yeah, like I was
It's
watching that video earlier today and on that girl Emily that I think she was 29, that guy Sean, he was in his 20s, and the other lady, I forget her, Latasha or something like that. And the most interesting of those three, I think, was the Sean kid because he was a young guy. He was healthy. He was like 6'4".
the one that burned all his electronics.
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
yeah, like he's into all this stuff. Never had any problems anywhere, and then his parents find him burning all his electronic stuff,
Yeah.
and
Like
like, oh,
why?
okay, that's kind of strange or whatever. And then a couple weeks later, he just got in his car. He disappeared.
I know.
Didn't tell nobody, and then they find his car 1,500 miles late in 2 days. Like he went 1,500 miles. They found his backpack, right over the hill or in a crevice of some sort, and then they couldn't find him. Like he was
That
just gone.
that was so strange because I don't know if you ever watched, was it Close Encounters of the Third Kind? It reminded me of something like that about the electronics. And then when that UFO sighting that over here in Pennsylvania that I went to, that these people said that they saw these lights in front of their house, and they work in a like a sheet metal recycling, like they recycle stuff like that. And
Okay.
that made me think about that kid when
Yeah.
this is so weird. Then the one story that David was talking about with what was that called? The Cayman Project, missing person. Is that how you say it? Cayman?
Yeah, something like that, I think it was.
That there was these two women that they went to this area for a wedding, and they saw these shadowy type people, and they were communing with each other. The two friends were communicating like telepathically to each other,
Oh,
and they were saying, "Pray, start praying now." It's like, oh my god,
yeah. Like, what did they know? What did they know? Because if they have telekinetic powers like that, and they saw these shadow people or shadow figures, those shadow figures are probably reading their minds, and they might be able to do the same
Mm-hmm.
thing back. So they might have known something, just didn't get a chance to, let it out to figure out what they are or what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean Graham was supposed to be on, but I guess we didn't connect. We didn't connect. We'll have him on maybe next week. We'll have Sean on as a guest. I was just going to have Sean on as a part of the panel, so we can talk
Okay.
about this again with Sean Graham next week because we don't have a guest next week. We are going to be talking about something. I forget what it was. I think it was something. Oh, the Doyce papers. I'm probably saying that wrong. The underground tunnels in New Mexico. So
Nice.
we're gonna have to hook up with Sean Graham. Yeah. Also, they were talking about the night marchers. These two women that they called them night marchers. Now, I don't know if anybody out there, Chad Kensington, do you know anything about the night marchers or any of you guys out there? And nobody, no.
I've
Do you know
heard
what a
something
night?
about that before. I was watching this show, and it was about unidentified and things like that. And there was this one gentleman on there. He was in the army or something, and he was set up on a post, and it was real desert. Pretty much a desert where he was, and he was on night watch. And I remember him talking about he does not want to go back to this place because in the middle of the night, he's the only one out there keeping watch. He was talking about these creatures or something with these like red eyes that just popped up out of nowhere, like they were going to attack him, and I can't remember what he said he did. I don't know if he fired off a few rounds at them or something like that, but he said it was nothing that he's ever seen before. So I wonder if it's all coinciding, as you said, like some kind of night watchers or night
Yeah, I'm
stalkers.
trying to see if I can find anything on night watchers. There's something going on out there.
I mean,
My
could you imagine being like set up for night watch and then, catching some crazy things that are like trying to come and attack you or whatever? You don't know what they are. Like, I couldn't even imagine that. You know.
Okay, Night Watchers is like these. Oh my God. It's a military order dedicated to holding the wall. This is like from a like a. I don't think that's what I think that's wrong. I don't think that's it. Marchers, excuse me, I said it wrong. Night Marchers.
Ah.
That would make sense. Watchers. That's scary. What are they watching?
They're watching it while you sleep.
That's even freakier.
Right.
There was a movie about Night Watchers too. They're like a mystical creature.
You know, it's crazy.
Oh, they're in Hawaii. They're the legend of the Night Marchers in Hawaii. So they're like a retelling of spooky This like ghosts. Oh, they're sort of like shadow people. There's just another word for shadow people, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Mysterious footprints in their path. They leave mysterious footprints. I don't know. I personally think that they are UFOs, like Sean said. I
have to agree on that one. It's just way too strange. It's all the same thing. They'll find a shoe, find the clothes. All the bodies are found, naked. They don't find them till months or years later in a place that was already searched several times. And then, like it was just placed there. So I think, like you said, UFOs for this would be a perfect, fit the bill because, what other explanation is there other than, people are getting abducted, maybe tested on or whatever, and then just dumped back off.
Yeah, and they said some of the mutated animals they were just too precise. They weren't like ripped apart. They were like, I want to take the eyes. I'll take the eyes.
Right.
It's like, well, there was another in this missing 411 Eastern United States. David talks about a lot of the berry pickers. Like, it seems to be something that's really like the clusters are one after the other berry pickers. Now, there seems to be a lot of people missing where there's berries. Who in the hell keep calling me? People are so rude.
It's probably Sean. Put him on speakerphone.
He's having some issues. And then the time periods, like there was like this one, there was like 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 missing people. And this was in Pennsylvania between 1940 and 1950. And then there wasn't any for another 10 years.
Yeah, it's like they all come in clusters, there was a lot between like 2010 and 14.
And then there was in Washington, all males were abducted or missing.
Yeah.
And they were like 8 years old, 4 years old, 2 years old, 7. But then these are all 4 cases of missing boys from Washington. And they occurred less than 2 months apart. And then there wasn't any for like 8 years. And then there would be then it wasn't just the little boys, it was the adults. And then it'd go back to the little boys and little girls. Like, it's weird.
I mean, it's really something because, it's like kids are fast, like my little kid, he's starting to learn to walk and it's like, oh my, he gets around really quick. You blink and, it's like, holy smokes, where'd he go? But they're not that fast to go like 12 miles or,
no. And they're finding them like there's no way. It's impossible for a 2-year-old to go off 12 miles by themselves.
Right. Like that would.
But they're not hurt. Sense. One of them wasn't hurt.
Yeah. Like, not hurt. I mean, could you imagine just trying to go 12 miles on your own? It's like you're going to need food. You're going to need some water, something. And that's a heck of a, hike or whatever. But for a, 2-year-old, it's impossible. I'm going to think that's impossible.
Yeah, listen to this. This is really good. Imagine, this is what David writes. Imagine you read a storyline like this. A little boy disappears in a meadow at a national park within 50 feet of parents. Searchers scour parks for weeks with no results. 80 armed Green Beret special forces brought in park to search. Strange screams reported by a family in the park. something similar to the dark-figured man is seen running through the forest in park carrying something over his shoulders. This is creepy.
Ooh.
Psychics tell of seeing boy in cave-like setting. Another psychic tells of seeing a boy possibly in a tree. No trace of the boy ever found. 11 people have disappeared under unusual circumstances at or near this park. The lead FBI agent on this case commits suicide.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
That's deep right there.
So this goes back to the X-Files. Okay, there was an episode sort of similar to this. The FBI does not, okay, they investigate the little kids. Okay.
Right.
So we're getting back to the one hunter that disappeared and the FBI came. And then this FBI agent commits suicide because why? Is this mind control thing going again?
It could have just, maybe the fact of, he can't find this kid. Maybe he was beating him up that bad that he just couldn't handle it or something, like we don't know. He was the only one that would know. But what if it was mind control of whatever's out there controlling his mind and doesn't want him?
Well, I believe there's somebody doing mind control. And I do believe, like Russell Round said, another dimension possibly. But, okay, if it's in another dimension, why would they take these people? And then why would they do this just to taunt you and leave their backpack sitting out forever? Remember, this was 3 years later, and the backpack looked brand new. The candy bar was still in the backpack. The little shoes on the hill, what do you call that? What do you call that when there's a hill? Terrain, ravine, whatever it's called. The tennis shoes look brand new.
Right.
The clothes that were missing were just a little. They would be disintegrated. What do you call it? Disintegrate. I can't have. I'm having a
disintegrated.
Disintegrate. I'm having a problem with my speech, and I know what it is. I know what it is. Yes, and
well, what if in this other dimension? Say, what if these people are actually taken with everything at first, and then in this other dimension they don't need whatever resources that these people have on them, so they just put them back or put them somewhere. And then do whatever they're doing to whoever, and then by the time they're done, search parties are over and it's, length of time later, or just bring them and their stuff back when they're done with, whatever.
I don't know. I just think they're all connected. And I think even that one that was the woman who saw that weird, like blobby thing that went tree to tree. And she just sat there and looked at it like she was like hypnotized.
Right.
So something, and that leads you back to if you want to go into conspiracy theories, that like some of these kids that go kill people, shoot up a movie theater, like they said that there's conspiracies that they were told to do by some kind of mind control thing. You never know. And the FBI might be involved. They might know about this stuff. Going back to Roswell, maybe this, because a lot of these places was, like Sean said, the Orns, Andrew and Julia, they all went to that triangle, and this is where supposedly the Roswell crash was. And going back to like people believe that Bigfoot is an EBD, extraterrestrial biological entity. Going back to that, I don't know. I think David's on there. I mean, I wish if you haven't read read it. Read one of his books. Go watch his YouTube videos. And I do believe we're at the witching hour. I don't know. We started a little bit late, so I don't know. I'll just wait here. No, we're not. We're not at the witching hour. So David, he has a really great, the Cayman a Missing Persons 411 on YouTube. It's great. And I think I'm hooked on it because I watch one after the other. And I think his project is really good. And I think he needs to do another documentary, but he's gone through a really rough time because his son committed suicide.
Oh.
Yeah, a few months ago. So, but I think they're all connected to going back to Bigfoot. And if you have a chance, you should go to the MUFON conference. And if you're in Western Pennsylvania, there's one. They're all over the place, but there's a lot of Bigfoot people there. And
another thing is too, I feel like a lot of people, don't believe there's a Bigfoot or UFOs or, and you got to sit and think for a second, like, why couldn't there be? we are here. You know, how are we here?
Exactly.
Why couldn't something else be here out there? You know, and all of that nature. You know, I feel like there's a lot to explore that we don't know about yet.
Okay,
know?
we have about 3 minutes. Why do spirits always make sounds in other room, or then when you run over to the room to investigate, there's a noise upstairs? I don't know, Russell, but there's a lot of noises in my office lately. I caught
Russ
my
is getting
computer go
prepared
on
for the
again.
weekend.
Yeah, you guys are going to the Octagon, so we're going to
Yeah.
have a show on that. So I can't wait. You guys doing a live investigation?
Possibly. We're gonna kind of feel it out. There's a lot of antiques and Civil War era stuff there,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go in tomorrow. We'll be arriving, get a tour, kind of feel the place out. Find some hot spots, and set up a ton of cameras, and
Yeah, I'm just anxious to see what you guys come up with.
yeah.
See if you get anything good on there. Yeah, that's exciting. So we're going to do a show on that. I know I'm not, my book's over there. I don't want to open it up. We only have a couple minutes left. Yeah, I'm excited. I know Sean's in Virginia right now.
Yeah. The first time he was ever early.
2 minutes. I hear you, Joe, the producer, owner of the station. I hear you. 2 minutes. We're going to be wrapping up. So just remember, if you're out, be careful. Be very careful. Tell someone that you're going to be out. Make sure you take something with you that you can communicate with somebody to let them know. And take a friend and take some protection. Hopefully, I mean that you can take that protection, but take an arm, Oh my God. Okay. But I want to make sure everybody's on here. So thanks for tuning in tonight, and make sure you check out the Missing 411. Make sure you like us on Facebook and Instagram. And if you have a paranormal investigation, make sure you contact Jason or Sean on Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. It was great to see you guys again. And check out David's books, Missing 411. Check out his documentary, and I hope he listens to this. I sent him a link. Hopefully he'll come on the show and he can tell us some more. And I hope I did him good. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning into Chasing Prophecy. Have a great night.
Have a good one.